It's the opening game of a three-game series against the Kansas City Royals. The Royals come to town as the hottest-hitting American League team. Kansas City Royals will take on the Blue Jays here in the first of a three-game set. Hello, everybody. I'm Buck Martinez, along with Rance Mullinax. And one thing we saw over the weekend was great starting pitching, most of it from the Angels. But Ricky Romero yesterday proved just how much he's grown. He pitched 8 innings of 5-hit ball and didn't have his best pitch.
He didn't have his best pitch, which is his changeup. He didn't have it at all yesterday afternoon, but he still had that great curveball. It has been his strikeout pitch, and he would use it to get some Ks yesterday afternoon. Here he strikes out Brandon Wood, then Juan Rivera, and Manny Ibar with that great overhand curveball. Another great outing from Ricky Romero yesterday. Leaves the ball game with a 1-1 record. Could most certainly be 3-0 at this point in the season.
Brandon Morrow will go against Kansas City tonight in his third start of the season, and Morrow has not gotten off to a great start. Last time out, he was a little bit better, but you can see both times he hasn't pitched late into the game.
No, and it's due to lack of command, and they're working with some mechanical adjustments to try to get that problem ironed out. But he most certainly has a great arm, tremendous potential. He's just got to figure out a way to get that ball down in the strike zone consistently.
Well, to address that, we talked to the pitching coach, Bruce Walton, and what he hopes to see from Morrow here tonight.
We like to step towards our target the best we can, and at times Brandon will step a little more towards the third base side, which blocks him off, which almost means he's aiming set up right at the hitter than right down the middle of the plate.
Morrow's going to get a chance to go up against the tough-hitting ball club. The Kansas City Royals lead the American League, and they, just like the Jays, lean heavily on 3 guys in the middle of their order.
Yes, they do. Butler, Callaspo, and Guillen, 30 RBIs between them. Second behind Longoria, Pena, and Crawford of Tampa Bay.
Cito Gaston continues to show support for Lyle Overbay. He's in that lineup, and that's the only way he's going to get out of this season starting slump. And for more on Lyle Overbay, let's go down and check in with Sam Cosentino.
Well, Buck, that slump has really been pronounced over the last 5 games dating back to the White Sox series. 1 for 20 with 8 strikeouts over that time. And up until yesterday, Overbay did not take his poor hitting into the field with him. But in the 9th inning with Scott Downs on the mound, this ball from Kendry Morales goes right between the wickets. That would lead to 2 runs, 1 unearned run, and eventual game winner as LA went on to win it 3-1. But Overbay's teammates showing great confidence in him. Last night, after the game, it was the season ticket holder barbecue, and several of the players came out showing support for Overbay by wearing his jerseys. Casey Jansen, Ricky Romero, Sean Markham, and of course Vernon Wells. And so Cito Gaston has confidence in his first baseman, so too do his teammates.
Well, they sure do, and everybody's got confidence in Adam Lind. He's had a great homestand. He broke up Erwin Santana's shutout bid in the 9th with a long home run to right. But everybody's got to step up a bit on offense. American League Central by 3.5 games. Former manager John Gibbons sitting next to Trey Hillman. For the Royals, it'll be De Jesus, Callaspo, Butler, and then the DH Jose Guillen. 8-game hit streak start and 441 average. Kansas City leads the American League in average, hits, and stolen bases. Pretty interesting combination. Rick Ankiel in center field has a lot of power. Brian Pena making his first start behind the plate tonight. He takes over for Jason Kendall, who's played every game up to this point. Alex Gordon, fresh off the disabled list. Mitch Meyer gets a start in left field. Scott Podsednik had to take care of some family issues, and Unieski Betancourt is the shortstop, batting ninth. Jays take the field. Brandon Morrow will make his third start of the season, anxious to get things turned around a bit and hopeful that he can have a good start against a very hot-hitting Royals club here tonight.
Brandon Morrow, with an outstanding arm, can be overpowering. But he's off to a slow start, and that's basically because he's really lacked command, has not been able to get the ball down in the strike zone with some consistency. He'll be looking to get that righted here this evening. You can see the 6 walks and 9 innings of work. That number is just too high. That will have to improve for Brandon Morrow. Young man with an outstanding arm, has a fastball that will at times touch 96. Solid curve, change, and slider. And he has struggled with his command, as I mentioned earlier. But if he can figure out a way to gather up some control, he could be a tough pitcher for the opponents to have to deal with.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Brandon Morrow. And this ball club has played pretty good in the field. Fred Lewis makes his second start in left field tonight.
Lewis in left, Wells in center, Snyder in right, Bautista and Gonzalez on the left side of the infield, McCoy and Overbay on the right side. Molina will do the catching this evening, and Brandon Morrow the pitching. Vernon Wells, still one of the best defensive center fielders in the major leagues. He can still go get the baseball, a fine throwing arm, 3-time Gold Glove winner, and really has been for many years the anchor of the defense for this ball club.
Still getting used to the surroundings here with the new artificial surface at the Rogers Center. Jose Molina behind the plate, reminding the infield that David De Jesus is a threat to bunt. De Jesus hitting an even 300. Leading things off here for Kansas City. Brandon Morrow with that good fastball. A lot of late life when he gets that fastball down in the zone. Another pitch up out of the zone. 2 balls and no strikes. Jose Molina behind the plate tonight, trying to accentuate that target down in the zone. John Hirschbeck behind the plate, waved that one outside. It's 3-0 to leadoff batter.
It was interesting, Molina, after the count ran to 2-0, you could tell he kind of shook his head. Looked like Morrow wanted to go to something other than the fastball.
4 straight fastballs for a leadoff walk to David De Jesus.
But the veteran Molina most certainly realizing that the first thing he's going to have to do is establish the fact that he can command his fastball.
Now Molina's out to talk things over with Morrow, and we had heard from Bruce Walton in the open that Morrow has a tendency to stride a little bit toward the third base foul line, and that will cause him to close up his delivery and create that high fastball, that problem out of the zone. So with a man on, Alberto Callaspo will step in. There's a fastball in there for a strike.
But even when it's up or even when it's down, Buck, you can most certainly see the life on that fastball.
Ball in there, gets away from Molina. He's not sure where it is, and it's going to bounce out of play in the dugout. Like a breaking ball in the dirt, kicked off Molina and went all the way into the Jays dugout. De Jesus was around second, but he will have to return to second.
A hard breaking ball, and Molina got crossed up. At least that's the way it appears by the way he reacted.
Yeah, it looked like he was expecting a fastball and got that ball down in the dirt. You could just kind of tell where his glove was when he gave that target. So it's a ball and a strike. De Jesus now in scoring position at second. Callaspo on the ground. Gonzalez going to third. They've got De Jesus in a rundown. Gonzalez tags De Jesus. He's out. What a heads-up play by the Jays defense. Gonzalez saw the base runner De Jesus right in front of him when he gloved that, and he knew he had to play to third. He and Bautista made quick work. Boy, that's a big play.
Yes, indeed, and a base running mistake by De Jesus. Not knowing where the shortstop was at. Heads up play by Gonzalez, and then Gonzalez able to run De Jesus down, and that prevented Callaspo from moving up into scoring position. Nice play all the way around.
Boy, they did everything right on defense there, and they eliminated the effect of that wild pitch. So the double play is in order now. Billy Butler, the first baseman, will hit with Callaspo at first. There's a good strike in there.
And normally when that shortstop, if the ball, the runner off of second base, if the ball's hit to your left, you can move over. But left-handed hitter, Gonzalez was shifted over towards the bag, and basically that ball was hit right at him. As that base runner, you have to know where those infielders are at.
Kansas City leads the American League, tied for first place with steals. They have 17 steals. That ties them with Tampa Bay. Everybody expects Tampa Bay to be there, but Kansas City is showing a different personality early in the season. They're going to run. On the ground, second base McCoy to Gonzalez. Nifty work around the bag, just like that, a double play to end the first. Mike McCoy to Alex Gonzalez. Quick work by the defense. Easy play. Consecutive games batting leadoff. Gonzalez second, Lynn third, then Vernon Wells, who's always enjoyed the Kansas City Royals pitching. 300 average with 8 home runs, 40 RBI by the Jays center fielder. Then Overbay, Bautista, and Snyder. Jose Molina behind the plate tonight, and Mike McCoy, who was involved in that inning-ending double play, top of the first inning.
That's a lineup. Will be up against Brian Bannister this evening. Comes into the ball game with an excellent 2.19 ERA and has had 2 career starts against the Toronto Blue Jays with a record of 1-1.
Lewis takes a strike. Fred Lewis got his first start in left field yesterday afternoon against the Angels. Check swing tapper toward third. Alex Gordon, 1 out. Alex Gordon starting his second game coming off the disabled list because of a broken thumb. Take a look at the rest of the Royals defense.
Meyer in left, Ankiel in center, De Jesus in right, Gordon at third, Betancourt at short, Callaspo at second, Butler at first, Pena behind the plate, and Brian Bannister will do the pitching this evening for the Royals. And that man there, Betancourt, tremendous range, strong throwing arm.
Gonzalez swings at the first pitch to center field, and Rick Ankiel with an easy play on the routine fly ball. 2 down.
And Unieski Betancourt, very athletic.
Well, Kansas City has always been known for their defense, and Betancourt in the core of that middle infield defense. They have tried to upgrade their defense and have dramatically in the outfield with the addition of Ankiel in center. 2 down now for Adam Lind. Takes the ball. Lind, the home run in the 9th inning with 2 outs yesterday against Irvin Santana. That broke up Santana's bid for his 5th career shutout. Hard on the ground. Fair ball. Butler to Bannister. 3 up, 3 down. We've played 1 inning here at the Rogers Center. We're scoreless.
Homeowners. The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Brandon Morrow set to begin the 2nd inning here. He'll face Jose Guillen. Good fastball in there, popping that glove of Molina. Guillen, 8th in the league in batting, 367. He's tied with Dustin Pedroia for 3rd in the American League with 5 home runs. Jammed him on the ground left side. Bautista in front of Gonzalez. And Guillen's retired. Boy, good movement on that fastball. Jammed Jose Guillen.
Well, with the exception of David De Jesus, Brandon Morrow has begun to settle in and get that fastball down in the strike zone. And the result, he's been very effective since the leadoff walk.
Center fielder Rick Ankiel takes a breaking ball in the dirt. 30-year-old Rick Ankiel looks a little different in a Royals uniform, having spent his entire career with the Cardinals prior to this season. Late on a fastball.
as a pitcher in 51 games, 13-10 with a 3.90 ERA. But obviously an all-around tremendous athlete to be able to make the conversion to the outfield and very quickly get back to the big leagues.
Always was very athletic and was a threat as a good hitting pitcher when he started out with the Cardinals. Another high fastball beats him upstairs. 2-2 on Ankiel.
You see someone such as Ankiel that has been able to make the transition, and with the way that he can swing the bat, it makes you wonder why he didn't just, or why he wasn't always an outfielder as opposed to a pitcher.
Wow, that's a good fastball. Just missed upstairs. Well, when you get a chance to see him throw from the outfield, you'll know why, because he's got a great arm, and they always hope that he would be able to stay in the rotation and really take advantage of that arm strength. Full count. Got a piece of it. And Keogh is one of the better throwing outfielders in all of baseball. And he is part of that revamped outfield that generally features Scott Podsednik in left and David De Jesus in right. Got him. Blew him away with a fastball. First strikeout of the night for Brandon Morrow.
When you can run it up there at 94, 95, 96, hitters have to cheat a little bit to catch up with it, and it will lead to this type of a swing where clearly the ball's up and out of the strike zone, but you're starting a little early to try and catch up, and you can't shut it down.
2 down. Brian Pena, the catcher, swings at a breaking ball in the first pitch, and that's what that first pitch fastball will do for you as a pitcher. Make the hitters swing at breaking pitches early. Pena making his first start of the season. Another breaking ball hit toward left field. Fred Lewis on the run, makes the catch and bangs into the wall. Good focus by Fred Lewis, the left fielder. Takes away an extra base hit from Brian Pena. Good concentration, playing in a new ballpark. Does a good job for the third out of the inning.
Evening, not overpowering, a fastball 88 to 91, and he will cut his fastball at times. Pretty good changeup, slider, and he will pitch to both sides of the plate. When you're not overpowering, you really have to emphasize both sides of the plate in order to be effective, and so far this year, Brian Bannister's done a good job of that.
Vernon Wells steps in, start the second inning. There's that fastball on the outside corner for a strike. You mentioned Wells and his success against Kansas City. 300 average with 8 career home runs. Out in front of an off-speed pitch. Wells 0 for 5 in his head-to-head matchups with Brian Bannister. A ball and 2 strikes. Jays looking to get some offense going. They have scuffled the last 2 series. In fact, Wells fouled that off his foot. White Sox series, they had some success, but boy, the Angels shut them down effectively in 3 fine starts. Jared Weaver, Joe Saunders, and the complete game from Irvin Santana on Sunday. Angels swept the Blue Jays here.
In those 3 games over the weekend, the team batting average just 192 for the Jays.
Wells goes upstairs and chases a fastball. First strikeout for Brian Bannister.
And here you got to look at the offense against both the White Sox and the Angels over the weekend. 192, as I mentioned, against the Angels. And then you go down to that runners in scoring position, and it drops off to 176. That's a combination that, well, it's tough to win ball games when you're not hitting and driving in runs. And yesterday was a perfect example of that.
Lyle Overbay bats with 1 out.
Ricky Romero with another great outing. Most certainly pitched well enough to win, but was a tough luck loser because the Jays are really struggling at the plate.
Swinging a drive down the left field line. That's in there. Could be extra bases. Overbay around first. Bobbled in the corner by Mayer. And Lyle Overbay going opposite field. It's a 1-out double. Mitch Meyer kind of bobbled it. It wouldn't have made any difference. It was right down in the left field corner. A clear double all the way.
And Lyle Overbay's at his best. He's a doubles machine, and a pretty good pitch from Bannister, but a great job to stay on it and drive it down into the left field corner. It's a pretty good pass right there.
Jose Bautista takes the ball down. Yeah, Overbay's had a couple of good at-bats over the last couple of games. He had a 9th inning double on Saturday. And certainly everybody's showing their support here. They'd love to have him get on a roll offensively. The team supported him last night. Everybody wearing his jersey to that team function. A ball and no strikes. Just outside.
That may have been more due to the fact that that ball that went between his legs in the top of the 9th inning as opposed to his offensive struggles, because it never fails. It seems like when you're really struggling at the plate, the ball will find you, and at the most inopportune time, you'll make a mistake.
2-0 in there for a strike. Isn't that the truth? You sit around and have a tough time with the plate, and then sooner or later, you're going to get the ball hit right to you, and you're going to throw it somewhere in the seats. That's the way the baseball works out. 2 balls and a strike. Overbay at second base. A 1-out double. 2-2.
Bautista looks like right now at the plate he's maybe over swinging just a little bit. That last swing there on 2-1 fastball looked a little bit long. And sometimes that's a result of just you're struggling, and then you press a little bit. Try to do too much.
Missed down. 3-2. 1 for 7 so far in the early going. Runners in scoring position. Good number there. The 7 walks. He's been selective, and he's been getting on base. He does it again. First walk issued by Brian Bannister. 2 on now with 1 down. Bannister, as Rance mentioned, not overpowering. Move the ball around, try to hit the corners. Has to stay out of the middle of the plate. Wants to talk to his catcher, Brian Pena. The veteran Jason Kendall has done most of the catching, or done all the catching, not most of it, just like he always does. Plays every inning of every game practically. And Brian Pena's getting the first start, so they wanted to talk over the signs here. Make sure they're on the same page. First and second, one out. No score here in the second. On the ground, right side. Billy Butler has one play, and that's to toss it to the pitcher. 2 outs, runners move up. Overbay to third, Bautista to second.
And Travis Snyder maybe just in a little bit of a hurry to try to get the job done and drive in a run. Chased what appeared to be a slider that was definitely a strike, but you know, early in the count, I'd like to see a hitter get a little better pitch than that and try to drive. Young guy once in a while gets in a little bit of a hurry and loses his patience at the plate and gets himself out.
Jose Molina takes a pitch down. Everybody anxious to contribute, and sometimes that's what leads to chasing those borderline pitches early. Molina takes a pitch off the plate. 2 balls and no strikes.
You can see by situation, runners on 224, but you get down to the runners in scoring position with 2 out, 174, just 198 with runners in scoring position, less than 2 out. And you see where they rank in the AL, and that is something that has to improve, and with time will. But it is a struggle right now.
Oh, a big hit right now certainly would get them off and running. No score, second inning, 2 out, 2 in scoring position. Big swing and a miss by Molina. And I think you can just see it. It's reflected up and down the order. Everybody's just trying to do too much right now. They all know what's going on. They want to try to help out the pitching staff. Pitchers have been great. They've done a good job of keeping the team in the ball club. They just need a few clutch hits. 2 balls and a strike. Molina hits it on the ground towards short. Betancourt to Butler, and Molina's retired. Brian Bannister gives up a 1-out double and walks the batter, but he strands 2 base runners. We're scoreless after 2. A trip to Fenway Park for you and 3 friends to see the Jays take on the Red Sox. Beautiful Fenway Park opportunity to see the Blue Jays down in Boston. The prize includes airfare, hotel, $1,000 of spending money, and a chance to go to the ballpark and have a meet and greet on the field. Beautiful Fenway Park. Go there with the Jays. For more on that, visit BlueJays.com. Alex Gordon, the Royals' third baseman, bats here in the 3rd inning. We're scoreless. Gordon broke his thumb in spring training, sliding head first into a bag. He is just back off the disabled list. 2 balls and no strikes. Pulled foul. That fastball up. He was out in front of it. Alex Gordon hit his first career Major League home run April 10th of 2007 right here at the Rogers Center. A 2-run home run off Josh Towers. He had a hip injury that ended his season prematurely last year. It's a fastball at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
When you're throwing 93, 94 at the knees.
Struck him out. That's what happens. Then you come with a breaking ball, and the hitters will have to try to protect that plate. 2 strikeouts now for the big right-hander.
Just in this at bat alone to Alex Gordon, you can see that Brandon Morrow has outstanding stuff. Live fastball, and that last curveball just fell off the table. Got up to the plate and just disappeared to Alex Gordon.
Mitch Meyer puts the ball on the ground, but it's foul. Throw to first base, but the ball is foul. Kansas City will do that. We saw them out here earlier about 2:30 today practicing, and they were bunting. They're going to run the bases. We mentioned they are tied with Tampa Bay to lead the American League in steals. A little bit like that old-fashioned Kansas City Royals ball club.
Well, for years, especially you go back to the days of Whitey Herzog, and for a few years even after he departed, it was all about hitting the ball in the gap and using their team speed to win ball games.
Strike 2. Mitch Meyer in a hole, 0-2.
Some of that was the result of that ballpark. At that time, the dimensions were huge, so you weren't going to hit the ball out of that ballpark with any type of consistency.
Lifted down the left field line, slicing away from Fred Lewis. Bounces out of play.
So it really put a lot of emphasis on being able to steal bases and go first to third, make things happen with your legs.
And Trey Hillman, the third season as the manager, he understands you have to play to your ballpark, and they don't have the big boppers. They don't have 40 home run guys up and down the order, so they've got to manufacture some runs. 0-2, outside corner, strike 3. Meyer didn't think so, but it looked like a pretty good pitch.
Fastball looked like right out there on the corner. Maybe some of that late movement by the time it hit Molina's glove. It might appear to be a little outside, but with 2 strikes, that's a tough one to take.
Number 9 hitter Betancourt swings at the first pitch and hits it into center field. Vernon Wells on the warning track makes the play. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Brandon Morrow. No score. Gear up for the 2010 season with MLB TV. Watch over 2,000 games live or on demand in high-definition quality. Packages start at $99.99. Log on to BlueJays.com or MLB.TV. No score, bottom of the third. Second baseman Mike McCoy shortened up the bunt and pulled the bat back. Swing and then lifted into center field, and McCann will have to play it on a hop. Leadoff base hit for McCoy. Speed on the bases.
You'd expect that he has the green light and the opportunity to run if he feels he can get a jump, considering the way the offense has struggled. You got to try to make something happen. You got the Mike McCoy off of first base, who has the ability to run and make some things happen with his speed.
Fred Lewis takes the ball down. Well, you got to believe Fred Lewis, who comes from the National League, he spent first 2 years in the big leagues with the Giants, understands that National League style, if you will. That National League style seems to be spreading around baseball. Fouled it back.
Well, the trend most definitely is going back to the way the game was played in the 70s and the 80s, quote unquote, the steroid era having been or put behind us at this point. But more and more teams are starting to run and put emphasis on the stolen base.
1-1 count on the leadoff batter, Fred Lewis.
Who would have ever thought that last year the Boston Red Sox would have someone, that someone being Jacoby Ellsbury, steal 70 bases?
That was the last thing the Red Sox ever thought about doing, was stealing in that ballpark. Boy, a little bit late getting back there.
You could tell by that reaction he was getting ready to go the other direction and had to quickly retreat. But that's what you have to do as a base runner. If you're going to steal second base, you have to be aggressive and a little bit of a riverboat gambler, if you will. Can't be worried about getting picked off and steal second base.
Swing and a miss from Lewis. A ball and 2 strikes. There are currently 6 teams in the American League with double-digit steals. There's more and more teams using that as part of their offensive philosophy. I think catchers are going to really be challenged this year to improve their throwing skills. Up and away, 2-2.
And pitchers are going to have to figure out a way now, put more emphasis on holding runners where, you know, for the longest time it really wasn't a big concern unless you really had a speedster at first base. So that's going to become important. Some pitchers that haven't really been conscious of that in the past are going to have to quicken up their delivery to the plate.
There goes McCoy. Swing and a miss, a strikeout. Throw to second base. Not in time. Gets away from Betancourt, but McCoy has to shut it down as Alberto Callaspo backed up to play. Brannon's throw was in the dirt.
Well, pretty good jump off of first base. See the strikeout and then the throw down, and Betancourt looked like it hit the runner McCoy, and he started to go to third base but thought better of it, probably made the right decision, and now we have another team with double-digit stolen bases, that being the 10th for the Jays.
7 American League teams now with double-digit steals. 1 out, base runner at second base is McCoy for Alex Gonzalez. Ball inside. Gonzalez with a chance to add to his RBI total, 8 on the season. No score here in the bottom of the third. Big cut, looked like he caught Brian Pena with the backswing. Pena checking the side of his helmet, the side of his face. They got that bat off the mast. John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, giving him a little time to gather himself. When hitters take that top hand off the bat and they extend it around, that bat really comes close to the catch. That time it caught Pena on the side of the mask. 1 ball, 1 strike, too much time for Gonzalez. He asked for time. Mike McCoy started things off with a single to center. He stole second base on the strikeout of Fred Lewis. So he's at second with 1 down. Good cut on a fastball away.
You really can tell that the Jays are pressing a little bit with runners in scoring position. Kind of complete opposite of what we saw out of the Angels over the weekend. They were nice and relaxed, those veterans. They weren't trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark or do too much with it. We saw oftentimes they just took the ball the other way, a nice little base hit to their opposite field, and it really paid off.
Well, Bannister's going to talk things over again with Pena. They seem to be having trouble getting together. Boy, you talk about what the veteran hitters did. Matsui went the opposite way. Jays had tremendous respect for him on the pull side of the diamond. He beat him twice going the opposite way, but you got to tip your cap to him. Juan Rivera hit one down the right field line, as did Torrey Hunter, going opposite field in those run-producing situations. A ball and 2 strikes. Fouled at the plate. Bannister with a pretty good idea what he wants to do. Set out the game plan for his catcher, Brian Pena. No score here in the 3rd. Gonzalez staying alive. In an RBI situation, you just got to think, I would think, stay in a big part of the field.
Stay in the big part of the field and not concern yourself with the situation. Just think about the process. In other words, what am I looking to hit? And when I get it, try to make a good swing and make some solid contact. Lots of times a hitter gets concerned about the situation and then the focus isn't where it needs to be.
In the dirt, blocked by Pena, and McCoy has to hold his ground. Brian Pena came up with the Braves. Very good defender, always looked upon as a backup catcher, and not going to get a heck of a lot of opportunities here in Kansas City with the veteran Jason Kendall, who takes a lot of pride in playing every single day. But he gets the start tonight. 2-2 to Gonzalez. Another foul. We're scoreless in the 3rd. Brandon Morrow, a very good first trip through the order. Faced just 9 batters over 3 innings and has 3 strikeouts already. Swinging a drive down the left field line, but that is hooking foul into the second deck and out the door. Alex Gonzalez, well, we have seen him put charge in a ball or 2. 4 home runs already to go along with his 7 doubles. Two and 2 count to the Jays shortstop. Breaking ball inside, it's a full count.
Well, Alex Gonzalez has had a nice at bat after falling behind 1-2 in the count. Has fought off some tough pitches, pulled the ball foul, and that curveball up and out of the zone. But right here, 3-2 is where, as a hitter, you have to just not assume he's going to lay a fastball in there. You want to maintain good discipline at the plate.
Chase to bad one, gets away from Pena. Gonzalez going down to first to throw. Not in time. Here comes McCoy, and he scores. Boy, what a piece of base running by Mike McCoy. He saw that ball in the dirt and broke to third and had home plate on his mind all the way.
Well, first of all, that's what I mean about not losing your discipline. This ball in the dirt, a changeup, not even close, but Alex swings at it. It'll go as a strikeout, but great base running by Mike McCoy. He never broke stride, comes all the way around, made the decision on his own right there. You've seen him turn it back on and scores easily.
Well, you can't be coached on that play. That was all instincts of Mike McCoy, and he did a terrific job of reading the play and making a decision.
But again, the steal of second base set all that up and eventually allowed that to happen. That speed pays off.
One out now for Adam Lynn. Takes the ball down.
You know, years ago it used to be you get to the 3-2 count, you could pretty much knew you were going to get that fastball, and you just can't take that approach anymore. Pitchers now will throw a slider, curveball, changeup. You have to be aware of that as a hitter.
Ball 2. And now Adam Lynn really has the count in his favor with Gonzalez at first. Gonzalez has a steal in one attempt. I would think he would hold his ground to keep that hole as wide as possible on the right side.
Especially with this 2-0 count, you want to allow Adam Lynn to be very selective.
Just out in front of it, outside the bag. 2 balls and a strike on the Blue Jays DH.
You don't want Adam Lynn to chase something that might be borderline if you're running off of first base, because he feels like he needs to protect you a little bit. When you have some thunder at the plate, you want to let him be very selective, especially ahead in the count.
Big cut and a miss by Lynn. 2-2. Well, he had been singing the praises of the speed game, and Mike McCoy showed how effective it can be, not only because he stole second base, but he scored on that strikeout wild pitch all the way from second base. So many ways to score a run. Ball 3 upstairs. Well, we talked about stolen bases and how important they are. Kansas City is tied with Tampa Bay with 17, and the Yankees, which is surprising as well when you think of the power in there. Toronto now has gotten into that pack of teams with double-digit steals so far. 3-2 count, 1 out. There goes Gonzalez. Swing and pull foul.
We've talked about it, especially over the weekend, the more emphasis on the stolen base, and it seems like the good teams around baseball, if you look at the teams that ultimately are in a pennant race in September or get to the postseason, they have a very good combination mix of power and speed.
And that's one of the assets McCoy has that was so attractive to Cito Gaston. The ability to steal bases. 3-2 pitch, quick throw. Not in time. Boy, that was close. James Hoy, the first base umpire, waved Gonzalez safe.
And you don't want to get picked off here 3-2. You'd like to get a good jump in the event that Adam Lynn were to strike out, but right here you have to trust in the fact that Adam Lynn's going to put the ball in play if it's a strike.
Gonzalez on the move. Ball up and away. Ball 4. 2 men on.
At least that's the way I always had to play it, Buck, because if I got picked off, I was going to be in a lot of trouble when I got back to the dugout.
Well, there's no reason to get a steal jump right there. You're going to be moving on the pitch. You just got to make sure the pitcher unloads it. Vernon Wells, a strikeout victim, back into the second. First and second, 1 out. Big cut and a miss. Bannister continues to try to work the edges. Swinging a drive down the left field line. Foul. Laz Diaz, the third base umpire, was camped on the foul line. Had a good look at it. Boy, that looked like it was close.
About as close as it can get without hitting the line. At least looking at it from up here. Here we'll get a great shot of it. Just foul.
Textbook umpiring by Laz Diaz. He went down to one knee to make sure he was going to get a good look at it, and it was about 3 inches foul. No balls and 2 strikes on the Jays cleanup hitter, Vernon Wells. In the dirt and scooped by Pena. 1-0 Jays lead it. Mike McCoy scored from second base on a wild pitch on the strikeout of Gonzalez. Gonzalez reached first as well. Good battle there by Vernon Wells to protect the plate.
It looks like this third time around the Jays hitters are starting to make some adjustments to Brian Bannister. It's a good, ultimately, Alex Gonzalez ended up chasing a bad pitch and striking out. Adam Lind ends up walking.
Wells knew he chased a bad one. Bannister got him to chase that high fastball. Wells strikes out swinging for a second time.
Probably upset about the fact that this fastball looked like it's well up and out of the strike zone, and Wells just got himself out.
Bannister has 3 strikeouts in the inning and got a chance for 4. Ball in dirt, gets away from Pena, and the base runners will move up.
Well, Pena's having a little bit of a tough night. Last pitch looked like a changeup in the dirt that it looked pretty routine in terms of, and you're speaking of a major league catcher, he should have been able to keep that ball in front of him.
Second and third now with 2 outs for Overbay. Overbay doubled in his first at bat. Takes one right on the corner. One nothing Blue Jays lead it. Trying to add on some runs. Another ball in the dirt. This is really where Overbay's got to stay calm and not try to do too much here. Let the ball come to him.
Maintain your discipline at the plate. And if Lyle Overbay could come through with a base hit right here, having already doubled in this ball game, that might really give him some confidence, and he might be able to really build on that and get himself going.
Overbay has the count in his favor.
You get a base hit, drive in a couple of runs, and it really does. It's really a big boost for you, oftentimes psychologically.
Interference, caught the catcher's glove. Ryan Pena has been digging balls out of the dirt, got overzealous and reached into the path of the bat, and Overbay is awarded first base. Catcher's interference. Overbay felt it, immediately pointed it to John Hirschbeck's attention. It's an error on the catcher. No at bat for Overbay. It's catcher interference. Bases are loaded now for Bautista. First pitch strike. This is a team in need of a big hit. Oh, and 1 on Bautista. Swinging a pop-up into right field. Coming hard is De Jesus into foul territory and makes the play. But the Jays are on the board. Mike McCoy's wheels scores the first run of the game. 1-0 Blue Jays. Morrow on the left, his last start. Look at how arched he is, falling away from his target. Tonight, he's right on line.
Yes, right on line. You can definitely, over here on the left, you can even see the numbers on the back of his uniform. On the right, you can't. It's much easier from this position on the right to get over your left leg and get the ball down. See, and the result is he's that fastball down and away on that outside corner, and he has been very sharp here this evening.
It's exactly what Bruce Walton was looking for, the ability to pound the bottom of the strike zone. David De Jesus bats for a second time tonight. He walked in the first inning. 1-0 Blue Jays lead it. Right side. Overbay's got it. De Jesus is retired. Once you see that a pitcher is throwing a lot of strikes, as hitters, you have a tendency to think swing.
And that keeps you on your toes defensively also. When the pitcher is pounding the strike zone, it just seems naturally you stay more alert and on your toes and ready to go.
Second baseman Alberto Callaspo takes a cut at the first one and misses. Callaspo, part of that three-headed monster that's providing most of the offense for this Royals ball club. Callaspo, Butler, and Guillen, all with 10 RBI.
Second only after today's game. The Rays played this afternoon. Longoria, Pena, and Crawford now have 33, and they're pretty good.
They are pretty good. 1-1 to Callaspo.
And of course, Wells, Linden, Gonzalez tied for third with 29.
2-2. Aaron Hill is out of the lineup, of course, on a disabled list. They hope to get Hill back Friday for the opener of the Tampa Bay Rays series. Jays will travel down to Tampa Bay after the Wednesday game with Kansas City. Another foul back. But that's a huge part of this offense that's missing, and it pushes everybody down a step. Gives you another legitimate bat. Takes a little pressure off everyone. Both Mike McCoy and John McDonald are doing a great job of filling in, but every ball club would miss the bat of Aaron Hill. And the Jays certainly do. 2-2. Pulled outside the back. Callaspo putting up a fight here. Morrow trying to finish him off. John McDonald and Mike McCoy, boy, they stay ready, and they are terrific guys to have on your bench. They can play all over on the field, and both of them have had contributions offensively. Popped him up. Vernon Wells calls for it. 2 down. Quickly, let's go down to Sam Cosentino.
Well, Buck, we have an injury update for you. After his last start, Brian Tallis started to experience some forearm stiffness. As a result of that, he will miss his next start Friday in Tampa. Ricky Romero will make that start. Bruce Walton, the Blue Jays pitching coach, was hoping to get everyone an extra day of rest with that off day Thursday, but that's not going to be the case now. The only one who will benefit from that extra day will be Sean Markham, and then Talbot will be slated to start against Boston right here on Monday.
Well, that's good news, Sam. They hope it's just a matter of one start for Talbot. Ricky Romero, I think you'd want to send Ricky Romero to the mound every chance you get right now. No balls in his strike to Billy Butler, the first baseman. Well, I tell you what, Brandon Morrow is sending a great message with his body language tonight. Got a lot of life and a lot of aggressive approach toward the plate.
With the exception of the leadoff walk to start this ball game to David DeJesus, he has been lights out. And his, just his demeanor on the mound looks like he's very confident and he's sure of himself here this evening. And that's a lot of it. A big part of it's believing you can do it.
But we're late on a fastball. Morrow's had some success as a starter, but this is going to be, without question, his best opportunity. And Bruce Walton is really committed to Brandon Morrow.
And it's important to remember this is just his 18th start in the major leagues, so he is a work in progress, no doubt.
2-2 pitch. And the foul back. Bruce Walton likes to believe it'll take him 30 games of first-hand experience with a pitcher, whether it's a starter or a reliever, before he has a real feel for just exactly what that pitcher might be. Inside, 3-2.
And Bruce Walton might be just the perfect pitching coach for a guy like Brandon Morrow. He's very laid back, very easygoing, always keeps even, everything's in even keel, doesn't get excited, knows what he's doing, knows how to teach. And sometimes that's what a young guy needs.
3-2 pitch to Butler on the ground. Shortstop. Butler's retired. 3 up, 3 down, 4th. Brandon Morrow has got himself a 1-0 lead. 3 strikeouts so far for Morrow. The fastball's been there. The breaking ball is working. Everything's clicking for Brandon Morrow. Begins Monday, April 26th at 6:30 p.m. It'll be the Jays against the Red Sox, and one of the items featured will be a trip to the Jays Care Foundation Gala. That'll be held at the Rogers Center, and a lot of opportunities to bid on some wonderful items, some authentic jerseys, some signed autographs, and a chance to meet the Jays. The auction takes place on Monday, April 26th, and the coverage will begin at 6:30 p.m. Travis Snyder takes ball 2. Jays lead it here as they bat in the 4th. 1-0. Ball 3. Leadoff hitter last inning in the 3rd. Mike McCoy singled, stole second, came around to score from second on a wild pitch. It's the only run of the ball game. Snyder takes a strike, 3-1. Fouled it back to the screen, full count. Swinging a drive toward right. David De Jesus back to the warning track, to the wall. It's gone. Travis Snyder, a solo home run, his second of the season, puts the Jays out in front 2-0.
Well, his first at bat, Travis Snyder was a little anxious, got himself out, but much more patient in this at bat. That leads to a 3-2 count and a mistake from Brian Bannister. And you get a look at the enormous power of Travis Snyder. Hit the ball very high, but still out of this ballpark with no problem.
Well, he had a chance to get a good look at a lot of pitches in that at bat, and when he got the one he liked, he didn't miss it. Jose Molina fouls it off. That's a good conversation right there. That's what I've been telling you, kid. Do that. A little more of that, okay? Number 2 on the season for Travis Snyder. Molina swings on the ground. Betancourt, big hop. Off the bag, and Butler puts the tag on Molina. 1 down. Mike McCoy got the scoring started in his last at bat with a leadoff single. Stole second steal of the season for McCoy. Swings at the first pitch, lifts it to left field. Mitch Meyer has room. Now he stops, camps under it, and McCoy's retired. 2 down. Brian Bannister will give up some fly balls. He pitches with a 4-seam fastball, rides the ball a lot, and he'll put the ball in the air. Fred Lewis, 0 for 2. Swings at the first pitch, drives it towards center. And Keel on the move and on the warning track makes the catch. Rick Ankiel with a good running catch in center field to retire Fred Lewis. But for a second inning, the Jays score a single run. Leadoff hitter Travis Snyder goes deep to right field. His second home run of the season. 2-0. himself. Cito Gaston's post-game press conference. All of Cito's post-game comments are available exclusively at BlueJays.com. Log on to BlueJays.com/Cito. Gaston, and I'm sure he's going to have some comments about Brandon Morrow and the way he has started here tonight. Brandon Morrow, 3 strikeouts through 4 innings. He's allowed a leadoff walk. Jose Guillen grounded to third his first time up. Big swing. Fouled off.
And quite possibly this is a very important inning for Brandon Morrow here, the top of the 5th. You have a 2-0 lead now. Go out there, shut the opposition down, get your team back on offense, keep a little momentum.
Right at the top of the strike zone. Guillen wasn't so sure about that. The ball and 2 strikes. But you're right after your team scores, especially a home run, you want to give them a chance to score some more quickly.
And you put another 0 on that scoreboard.
Fisted back out of play. We talk about Bruce Walton and his ability to be so upbeat with his pitching staff, and he does a great job. No matter what it is, no matter what kind of outing, he always finds something positive to build upon.
Right here, Brandon Morrow's had a great curveball tonight. Really a great situation to use it here.
Guillen's asking if that wasn't a foul tip. John Hirschbeck said no, just a swing and a miss, and he is tagged out. 4th strikeout for Brandon Morrow.
But when you can run it up there at 95 or 96, just play some good old country hardball, challenge the hitter. This ball probably a little out of the strike zone, and clearly tied Guillen up.
And Keel takes the first pitch strike.
Guillen, the veteran, trying to talk the home plate umpire John Hirschbeck into believing he fouled that off.
Strike 2. Morrow's in a groove now. Just got a piece of that breaking ball. Rick Keel with a lot of power. 3 home runs already this season. And as we mentioned earlier, started his career as a pitcher, but he's always been impressive when he's been able to swing the bat, even as a pitcher. 0-2. Strike 3 call. Backdoor with the slider for the strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts, now 5 for Morrow.
Well, a great example, of scouting reports and what they do for you and how they influence how you attack a hitter. Basically, everything to Guillen was hard. Everything to Ankiel was off speed. Curveball, 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 slider.
2 outs. Ball in the dirt to Brian Pena. Pena just 0 for 2 on the season. This is his first start of the year. There's a strike. Hit a ball hard his first time up. Took the left fielder Fred Lewis all the way to the wall and left. But Lewis corralled it. Explosive. A lot of late movement on that fastball. Defensive swing, and he got a piece of it. Jose Molina behind the plate has the luxury of calling just about anything he wants right now because Morrow has been able to throw everything over.
Yeah, that last pitch with his 59th on the night, 41 of them for strikes. Just 18 for balls. That's a very good ratio.
Struck him out. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Brandon Morrow. He has 6 tonight. Jose Guillen goes down swinging. Rick Ankiel and then Brian Pena. Morrow leads it 2-0. Blue Jays lead at 2-0 here, bottom of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, and an error for Kansas City. 2 runs, 3 hits, and no errors for Toronto. Alex Gonzalez will start things off here in the 5th. There's a fastball in there. I think he took something off to get ahead. Popped up right side, drifting into foul territory for Butler, and he makes the play. Gonzalez is retired, and now Adam Lynn will bat. He walked to load the bases in the 3rd, but then was stranded when Bannister was able to get out of it. Good curveball, but upstairs. Again, Bannister not overpowering, but good combination of pitches. Changeup missed downstairs now. 2 balls and no strikes, and again, good hitter count.
Yes, it's not like the Jays have knocked Brian Bannister around here. Just 3 hits.
Outside corner.
So far in this ball game, the first run that they scored was due to the speed of Mike McCoy. It was kind of manufactured a run, and then of course the home run by Snyder. So Brian Bannister's been very good here this evening.
But he trails 2-0. Jammed at the second baseman Callaspo. 2 down. Made a good pitch there, right in on the fist of Adam Lynn. 2 quick outs for Brian Bannister now. The cleanup hitter, Vernon Wells. Swing at the first pitch toward the gap in left field, and Meyer cuts it off. Wells around first. He's headed for second. Here's the throw to second base. Not in time. Wells challenged the arm of Mitch Meyer and beat it. Good time to run with 2 outs.
Well, he did, and it's a good thing that the throw was a little offline and took Callaspo away from the bag, because Vernon Wells, although he was hustling right away, thinking 2 out of the box, his turn around first base was not very good. It got quite wide, and if this throw's on the bag at second base, it would have been the difference. He'd have been out. But just able to get in before the tags applied.
A 2-out double for Wells, his 4th of the season, will bring Lyle Overbay to the plate. Ball down. Overbay doubled in his first at bat down the left field line and reached on catcher's interference. That loaded the bases in the 3rd. Ball 2. Two nothing here in the 5th. Travis Snyder with his 2nd home run of the season. Overbay takes a strike. Single run scored in the 3rd. Mike McCoy scoring from second base on a wild pitch. And then the solo home run to start the 4th by Travis Snyder. Overbay takes one down and in. 3 balls and a strike. Jose Bautista on deck.
So how do you approach this situation if you're Brian Bannister? 3-1, you have a left-handed hitter at the plate, one who has been struggling, but first base open, right-hander on deck. Well, now we know 3-1 curveball was not going to give in to Overbay, and definitely the catcher Pena was crossed up. But that was kind of funny. He started to go up to get it, and then quickly back down in the squat and tried to frame it for the umpire.
Yeah, it's hard to believe they've had so many problems tonight. They've had 3 or 4 meetings. John Gibbons, the bench coach, not real pleased. He's in charge of the catchers as well. So Bannister walks Overbay. 1st and 2nd, 2 outs for Bautista. Swings at the first pitch and drives it toward left. It's far enough, and it is fair. Gone. Second home run of the season for Jose Bautista, a 3-run shot to make it 5-0.
Yeah, sometimes you play the percentages and go by the book. Clearly pitched around Lyle Overbay after he got behind in the count. But this time it doesn't pay off. Looked like a cut fastball that he wanted to start in off the plate and bring it back to the inside corner. It started in the inside corner and ended up a little out over the plate, and Bautista didn't miss it.
Well, we mentioned that Bannister throws a lot of fly balls, and 2 of them have left the yard. 5-0 Blue Jays.
Well, that one was huge, because that 3-run shot now makes it a 5-run ball game.
Cut fastball inside. Vernon Wells with a 2-out double forced the bad throw, hustling around the sack, kept the inning alive. Overbay walked and set up Bautista. 2-2 to Travis Snyder. 2 home runs tonight. Snyder with a solo shot in the 3rd, and Bautista with a 3-run home run here in the 5th. Swung and a miss, and the throw to first base, and Snyder is retired. A big 2-out rally for the Blue Jays. Jose Bautista with a big 3-run shot to the upper reaches of the Rogers Center. Join us tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for the second game of this 3-game series. Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. It'll be Dana Evelyn looking to improve to 3-0. He'll be up against Kyle Davies as the Royals take on the Blue Jays. Right here, Rogers Sportsnet. Alex Gordon takes a first pitch ball. 5-0 Blue Jays. Behind 2 home runs, a solo shot by Travis Snyder in the 4th, and a 3-run home run by Jose Bautista in the 5th. Pulled on the ground but fouled. Some timely hitting and a 2-out rally last inning. Certainly something that the Jays haven't been able to do a lot of lately.
Well, the key being 2 outs. Finally got a big hit.
Gordon fights it off, but fouled over the dugout.
Well, the importance of hitting with runners in scoring position is critical, especially when you've got a good pitching matchup. You're not going to get many opportunities to score, and when you do, you have to take advantage of them.
On the ground, just outside the bag at first. Well, the one thing we have seen tonight from Brandon Morrow is his ability to pound the strike zone. He walked the first batter of the game, but since then he has been aggressive with all of his pitches. Just 64 pitches here in the 4th inning. Very efficient. There's not a pitcher in baseball, and you know, after a while you really find your rightful spot, but Brandon Morrow really has always wanted to start.
And he's definitely going to get the opportunity here with the Jays.
Five innings, no hits, a walk, and 6 strikeouts through just 64 pitches to this point. Outside.
Just the minimum number. Of course, that walk was erased on the double play. Ball hit by Billy Butler to end the first inning.
You can see that the Royals hitters really have to expand their strike zone. Morrow has thrown so many pitches to good spots in the strike zone that they can ill afford to take the close ones.
And it's been with everything that he has. He's done it with his fastball, his curveball, slider, occasional change.
Do that one right off Molina's glove. Well, he's got a nice tempo tonight. His rhythm has been exceptional. He and Molina have been on the same page all night long, but it certainly makes the catcher's job easy when the pitcher has command of all his pitches. 3-2 to Alex Gordon. Another foul back.
And just the fact that Brandon Morrow knows that the ball club's going to stay with him. They're going to keep running him out there. It doesn't matter. You have a couple of bad starts. We're still going to stay with you. That in itself has to help you mentally to know that if you go back out there, even if tonight had not went well, the next time his spot comes up, he's going to be out there.
He walked him. So for the second time tonight, the leadoff batter has reached for Kansas City. Retired a streak of 13 straight batters retired. That ends that. So Gordon's on. Number 8 here, Mitch Meyer, struck out his first time up. Went too far. Chased the ball down. Meyer starting in left field tonight. The Royals' regular left fielder, Scott Podsednik, had to take leave from Toronto to fly back to Kansas City to take care of some family business. They expect him back tomorrow. Strike 2. Scott Podsednik leads the American League in hitting. And he's certainly part of the reason that they have hit the ball so well and have stolen some bases. 0-2 to Meyer. Pulled on the right side. Big hop from McCoy, and Meyer's retired. Base runner Gordon moves from first to second on the putout. One out. Number 9 hitter Unieski Betancourt will bat. Molina with some last-minute instructions tomorrow.
I recall the first time I had the opportunity to watch Unieski Betancourt play in Seattle. And at the time, it looked like he was really going to develop into a star. He has all the tools to do that, but for whatever reason, didn't really pan out in Seattle. They basically gave up on him. Now he's here in Kansas City, and he's off to a good start this year.
Came up with the Mariners in 2005, played 60 games and hit 256. His best season, 2007, when he hit 9 home runs and drove in 67. Swings and drives it through the hole left side. Gordon gets the stop sign. Throw from Lewis right on the money to the cutoff man, Bautista. First hit of the ball game for the Royals. Unieski Betancourt. Clean single through the left side.
Well, when you're down by 5 runs, you're definitely not going to send a runner unless you know for sure he's going to score. Here's a look at the swing of Betancourt, driving it hard on the ground between third and short. But a nice job by Freddie Lewis to charge the baseball, come and get it very quickly, and then a good, accurate throw right to Bautista, the cutoff man. That forced Betancourt to shut it down around first base, and you keep the double play in order.
David De Jesus, the leadoff batter. Runners at the corners, 1 out. Swings at the first pitch and drives it into right. Base hit. Gordon will score. And De Jesus singles sharply into right field. The Royals are on the board 5-1. De Jesus picks up his 6th RBI of the season.
One of the few mistakes Brandon Morrow's made tonight, a fastball that runs back out over the plate, and De Jesus hit it very hard into right field.
1 out now for Alberto Callaspo. Breaking ball in there for a strike. First and second. Kansas City breaking through here in the 6th. The leadoff walk got it going. Callaspo trying to keep things going. Morrow, love to see a ground ball. Outside corner, strike 2. 0-2 to the Royals second baseman. In the dirt and blocked very well by Molina. And then hard breaking ball right in the dirt. A ball and 2 strikes. One and 2 pitch to Callaspo. Struck him out. 7th strikeout for Brandon Morrow.
This is just nothing but a challenge fastball, and he just throws it right by Callaspo. Not a particularly good pitch in terms of location, but with the type of velocity and life that Morrow has had with his fastball tonight, he just threw it right past Callaspo.
Speed pitch misses. A ball and no strikes to Billy Butler, the first baseman. Double play in the first, and then a ground out to short in the 4th. Right back in there for a strike. Brandon Morrow had held the Royals hitless until this inning. Iniesky Betancourt with a sharp single to left.
And a tough out at the plate. And this Billy Butler, a good hitter. Last year he was the Royals Player of the Year. He hit .301 with 51 doubles, 21 home runs, and 93 RBIs. That 51 doubles is the second most in the majors. And only Hal McRae has hit more doubles in a season for the Royals than Billy Butler.
1-2 pitch to Butler. Fouled straight back into the seats. And Butler's just learning. He turned 24 yesterday. He's worn out the Blue Jays. Just in 6 games, he hit 2 home runs and had 5 RBI. One-two to Butler. Sawed him off. Morrow takes his time and flips to Overbay. Brandon Morrow gives up a couple of hits. First hits allowed tonight, but he is in the driver's seat. 7 strikeouts so far. Morrow leads the Royals 5-1.
on Rogers Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Back here at the Rogers Center, Jays up 5-1 as they bat in the 6th. 2 home runs tonight. Solo shot by Travis Snyder in the 4th, and a 3-run, 2-out home run in the 5th by Jose Bautista. Jose Molina with a big cut. No balls and a strike. Oh, and 2. Molina has done a nice job working with Brandon Morrow tonight. Morrow has been efficient. He's been effective. He's racked up 7 strikeouts. Breaking ball for strike 3. Good curveball.
Well, with the exception of the couple, especially I should say the one pitch to Bautista, Brian Bannister's been very good tonight.
Well, the home run to Bautista came after a 2-out walk to Overbay. Mike McCoy. A hit and 2 trips. He scored a run. Also stolen a base. Big slow breaking ball in there. 0-2. Right back up the middle. Gloved by Callaspo, but no play. Second hit of the night for Mike McCoy. Let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Well, Buck, Louis Mendoza warming up in the bullpen for Kansas City. Somewhat of significance in the fact that you mentioned Scott Posednik is not here. The Royals also going with 8 pitchers in that bullpen, so really just 2 bats available to them, one of them being the backup Jason Kendall. So should this thing get into a close and late situation, not too many options for Trey Hillman.
Yeah, it's very unusual. A team would carry 13 pitchers, but that's the case here in Kansas City.
One of the reasons may be the fact that the bullpen has really struggled so far this year. Maybe the thought being you're going to try to give yourself as many options as you can out in the bullpen.
Fred Lewis, there goes the runner McCoy. Throw to second base. Not in time. Second steal of the night for Mike McCoy.
Well, another good jump off of first base. Actually, this one a little better than the first time he stole a night. A pretty good pitch to throw for Pena, but the jump and the speed of Mike McCoy just beats it to second base.
Fred Lewis takes ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. Lewis batting for the 4th time tonight. Ball 4. He's on. Mendoza, as Sam mentioned, loosening up. Trey Hillman, the manager, and Bob McClure, the pitching coach, will come out to buy some time for the bullpen. McClure in his 5th season as the Royals pitching coach. Short meeting. Message delivered. Looked like Bannister did most of the delivering. 97 pitches. The Jays lead at 5-1. Another look at Mendoza. acquired right at the start of the season from the Texas Rangers. Runners at first and second for Alex Gonzalez. Swings in, drives it toward the gap in center field. And Keel can't make a play. Here comes McCoy around third. The throw to second base is cut off. Throw to the plate, not in time. Second run scored for McCoy. Gonzalez gets the RBI.
Well, and another hit. Big hit with runners in scoring position. Hits cutoff man. The relay to the plate not in time. The only reason I was a little bit close was McCoy kind of hung around second base to make sure that the ball was going to fall in. But still, with his speed, able to score easily.
It's a double for Gonzalez, and that'll end the night for Brian Bannister. Bannister leaves trailing 6-1, and 2 base runners are his responsibility. He'll give way to Luis Mendoza coming out of the pen. Well, the Royals go to their bullpen, and generally when they do so far this season, it's not been very good. The ERA 7.68, that's 14th in the American League, and they're tied for first with 4 blown saves. They got a great closer, but it's been difficult to get to them.
And you look at the number of walks per 9 innings of work, almost 7. And that doesn't take into account the number of times they've probably been 2-0-3-1.
Luis Mendoza, a big right-hander, acquired from the Texas Rangers, and great sinking fastball. He's given up 7 hits in just 3 innings of work, and now the Royals infield in trying to save these base runners.
Well, in 111 innings of work last year at AAA, he allowed just 4 home runs, so that tells you he has a lot of sink to his fastball.
This is a big gamble here, and they're down by 5, but anything through the infield, more than likely, is going to score 2. There's a little tapper on the infield. Lewis holds his ground at third. Throw to first base, and Lynn's retired. So the drawn-in infield keeps Fred Lewis at third base. Mendoza gets that sinking fastball down in the zone to retire Lynn. Vernon Wells, 2-out double. Scored on the 3-run home run by Bautista back in the 5th. 2 on, 2 outs. Royals takes a strike. 1-1. Big insurance runs on there. Tack on runs. Jays up by 5. Swing and a pop down the left field line. Meyer on the move. Kayaks will. There's Betancourt. Betancourt made the play and held on to the ball. Meyer took his feet out from under him, but a big play defensively to get the Royals out of the inning. Wells pops up to the shortstop down the left field line. Unieski, Betancourt, the shortstop, with a long run into foul territory, and Myers takes him out, but he gets out of the inning. The show only on PlayStation.
Brian Bannister, 5 1/3 innings of work, 6 earned runs, the 4 walks. A couple really came back to haunt him. Total of 99 pitches. The most damaging blow came to the 3-run shot by Jose Bautista in the bottom of the 5th.
Jose Guillen hitting in the 7th leads things off for the Royals. Swinging a drive into left field. Fred Lewis on the run, cuts it off, and will keep Guillen to a long single. Well, a good example of the speed of Lewis as he got over quickly and cut that ball off to keep Guillen to a long single.
Yeah, the ball was hit very hard. But Fred Lewis, with outstanding speed, is able to hustle over, cut it off, and get it quickly back to the cutoff man.
Rick Ankiel with a man on. Takes a strike. Ankiel has struck out twice tonight. Seven strikeouts for Brandon Morrow. And cut it a breaking ball.
And it is clear that the Jays want to attack Ankiel with soft stuff. First pitch, kind of a take a little off fastball, maybe change up on the outside corner, a curveball in the dirt. His last at bat, a steady diet of off-speed pitches.
And then he crosses him up. Paints the inside corner with some heat. 8 strikeouts now for the Jays right-hander, Brandon Morrow.
Well, oftentimes it's what you do to a hitter. In his last at bat, it was all breaking stuff. The first 2 pitches in this at bat, off speed. So as a hitter, that's what you start to get geared for. And then they'll throw you a fastball when there's no way you can really be looking for it, and throws it right by him.
Line drive, short hop. Gonzalez steps on the bag at second for 1, over to first. Double play. Second double play of the night turned by the Jays infield. Gonzalez on the short hop, supporting Brandon Morrow. 6-1. Jays lead it. Town to begin a 3-game series starting Monday, April 26th. You can see the Red Sox hit Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All games begin at 7:07 p.m. For tickets, call 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop in at most Rogers Plus locations. The Red Sox lost again today to Tampa Bay. They have now lost 5 straight. Hard to imagine with that pitching staff that they would have a 5-game losing streak. Luis Mendoza fires a ball down. First pitch to Lyle Overbay.
You face that Tampa Bay ball club, you better be on top of your game because they can swing it.
Scored 8 runs today, beating the Red Sox 8-2. Another ball in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes.
I'm not sure there's a team in baseball that's any more athletic than the Rays.
Well, they have some real questions. Are they going to get off to a good start and be able to hold on to Carl Crawford and Carlos Pena all year long? They're both looking at free agency at the end of the season.
They definitely have some tough decisions to make.
Overbay has been on board 3 times tonight.
That will probably be determined, if it is at all this year, somewhere maybe late July. If it looks like they have a chance to get to the postseason, you'd have to believe they're going to keep both of them.
Two balls and a strike to the Jays first baseman.
But they are a ball club that so far in the early going, their bullpen has struggled somewhat as well, and they're going to have to get that situation righted.
There aren't too many perfect teams anywhere in baseball. 3-1. Ball 4. Overbay's been on base all 4 times. He's officially 1 for 1. 2 walks, catcher's interference, and a double to the opposite field. The support helps.
Any kind of support helps when you're struggling.
Overbay's on. Jose Bautista went deep his last time up, a 3-run homer, and take another swing, and that ball is high and deep to left field. Myers not going to get it. He's done it again. Second home run of the night. Bautista's driven in 5.
We talked about Luis Mendoza and the fact that he has a great sinker. But high sinkers have a tendency to flatten out, and sometimes go a long way, and that was a high sinker. He said it ended up about belt high, and Bautista, for the second time tonight, just unloads on the baseball.
8 runs on 8 hits now for the Blue Jays. Travis Snyder, he's gone deep tonight.
And that looks like the swing we saw in spring training.
Lots of smiles in that dugout tonight. On the corner. This club needed to have a laugher. They needed to have a little room, a little cushion. Great starting performance by Brandon Morrow. Gave the offense a chance to get the lead. They've been getting good pitching. And tonight they've combined pitching and offense. Morrow's been terrific. Just around the outside corner.
Most of the Angels did it, and the Royals here tonight, although they did make a mistake and Snyder hit it out of the ballpark, primarily have tried to stay away with everything.
Another full count.
Fastball, everything, be it hard or soft, has been away from him. So definitely feel like his weakness is that ball out there on that outer third.
Reached for it and pops it into center. And Keel dives for it, can't make a catch. Base hit for Travis Snyder. That ball got down just ahead of the dive of the center fielder, and Keel.
Well, a great effort by Keel. He had a long way to go to get to this ball. It's a pretty good jump. And lays out, but unable to come up with it. Great effort. Looked like it might have hit the heel of his glove. That's exactly what happened. If he'd got that up in the pocket, he'd have made the play.
Snyder has 2 hits tonight. Jose Bautista, his 3rd career multi-home run game. Both home runs tonight coming on the first pitch, and he has tied his career high with 5 driven in. Big night for Bautista. One thing that has been effective for them, they've been able to capitalize on their run scoring situations. Overbay has scored twice tonight. And an opposite field double. Mendoza came on the 6th inning and retired the 2 batters to finish the inning. And then the leadoff walk here ahead of the 2-run home run to Bautista. And then Travis Snyder with a little Texas League single into center in front of the diving Rick Ankiel. 8-1 Blue Jays. That fastball explodes bottom of the strike zone. Boy, if he keeps it down, it can be tough. But he elevated that pitch to Bautista. A ball and 2 strikes on the Jays catcher, Jose Molina. Inside.
All night long, Molina's been just a little out in front of everything. He's just not letting the ball quite get deep enough. And the result, he's been around the ball, and he's had the ground, hit the ground, a couple of ground outs to Betancourt at short. Had a couple of swings in this at bat where he's been out in front.
Stayed back and fought that one off. Robinson Tejeda loosening up for the Royals. Another full count. Mendoza's having all sorts of problems here in the 7th. Mendoza came on in relief of Brian Bannister with 1 out in the 6th. We're going to drive toward left field. Meyer is there, makes the catch. Molina's retired. He hit it sharply, but at the left fielder. One out. Mike McCoy's had a good night at the plate. 2 hits, 2 runs scored, 2 steals. He bats with 1 out. Ball in the dirt. McCoy got everything going offensively in the 3rd inning when he scored all the way from second base on a strikeout wild pitch. Gonzalez struck out. Ball got away from the catcher. Catcher's throw to first was late, and the return throw to home not in time. Two balls and no strikes. This is the first of 3 games against Kansas City. This series will wrap up a 10-game homestand. We're going to drive to right field. De Jesus on the run. Can't make the catch. It's over his head. Snyder's around second, headed toward third. He's going to be held up by Butterfield. Mike McCoy with a 3-hit night. He drilled that ball to right. It just kept carrying on De Jesus.
Yes, he's having himself quite a night. He did drive this ball hard. I think he thought the ball was going to be caught. It looked like De Jesus initially took a poor route to that baseball, and the result was he was unable to make the adjustment and make the catch. Of course, Snyder had to make sure that the ball fell in. Therefore, he is unable to come all the way around and score from first base. But that young man right there is having himself quite a night.
He's knocked Luis Mendoza out of the game. They'll go to the bullpen again. We talked about the Royals and their problems with their bullpen. It'll be Robinson Tejeda coming on with 1 out here in the 7th. It comes out of the bullpen. He works with runners at second and third and just 1 out. His 6th appearance of the season.
And he is really off to a rough start. 5 innings, 8 hits. That's bad enough, but throw in 8 walks. That's too many base runners.
Almost hits Fred Lewis with the first pitch.
That's 16 base runners in 5 innings of work. That won't get it done.
Nope, that is going to create problems. Fred Lewis 0 for 3 with a walk. Big rip and a miss at a fastball.
Yeah, sometimes all you can do as a manager is keep running them out there and hoping that they figure some things out and get the ship righted.
Well, they have 13 pitches. They're trying to find some combination that will be effective out of their pen. 1-1 to Lewis inside. Tejeda with 2 inherited runners on base. He's allowed all 3 previous inherited runners to score. 2-1.
It kind of reminds me, this Royals club of 83-84. We had about as good a team as there was in baseball but for 7 innings, but we didn't have anybody to finish it off on the back end for us. I remember one time looking down the left field line, and Bobby Cox had 2 right-handers up throwing. Didn't even bother to go with the righty-lefty combo. Just call down there and see who's throwing the best.
Oh, that's a good rip, but fouls it back. Yeah, those were the lean days before the days of Ward and Hinkie. Gary LaBelle, Bill Cottle came over 85, and both of them were towards the end of their career. But once Tom Hinkie came on board, things turned around. 2-2 to Fred Lewis. Another foul back.
It's like went from one extreme to the other, where we didn't have anybody to all of a sudden, like you had Hinkie, and then here comes Ward, and then you can throw in a little later in the early 90s Mike Timlin into that mix.
A steady stream of good arms. That's what the Jays hope will return. 2-2 to Lewis again. He struck him out. Chased a high fastball.
Well, Tejada with a good arm. Clearly see that. Throws very hard. But you've got to be able to make quality pitches consistently at this major league level to get hitters out.
Alex Gonzalez. 2 outs, 2nd and 3rd. Jays up by 7, 8-1.
That would be Tejeda, not Tejada. Thinking about a shortstop.
Robinson Tejeda. First pitch breaking ball gets Gonzalez to chase. Robinson Tejeda started out in the Phillies organization. Kansas City picked him up from the Texas Rangers. No balls and a strike on the Jays shortstop Alex Gonzalez. Their high fastball, a cut on the missed. Gonzalez hit a double to the gap in right center in the 6th. Drove in a run. That gives him 9 ribbies for the season. Second and 3rd. 2 outs. From the side, outside. Tejeda's got all the pitches. He's got a good arm and he's got a good breaking ball. It's just been a bit of a rocky start for him. Outside, 2-2.
Clearly you can tell Tejeda has an outstanding arm. That last fastball at 96 miles an hour.
Now, the league hit 167 against him last year in 73 2/3 innings. He allowed but 43 hits. They're looking for that Tejeda. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2-1. Blue Jays lead it 8-1 here as they bat in the 7th. Popped him up. Foul ground outside of first. Billy Butler makes the play. Gonzalez is retired. But Jose Bautista, 2 home runs tonight, a 3-run shot in the 5th, and then a 2-run home run in the 7th. 3rd multi-home run game of his career. Good start for Brandon Morrow. 7 strong innings. He allowed just 3 hits, an earned run, walked 2, struck out 8, 90 pitches, but he only threw 26 balls tonight. Boy, they straightened out his alignment very effectively.
Yes, they did. Was consistently at a head in the count the entire evening, walked just 2, and was able to throw all of his pitches for quality strikes.
Sean Kemp comes on now to work the 8th. Kemp's thrown the ball very well. Really using his secondary pitches and that great sinking fastball. Alex scored and struck out and walked. He scored the only run of the game for the Royals in the 6th inning. Came in to score on the RBI base hit to right by David DeJesus. Great late movement by Sean Kemp on that sinking fastball. Ball just dives when it gets into the hitting zone. On the ground. Deep and short. Gonzalez to Overbay. Let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Guys, you mentioned the great start by Brandon Morrow. You go back to his first ever start against the Yankees September 5, 2008. Through 7 2/3 of no-hit ball. The catcher for the Yankees that night, Jose Molina. So I'm sure he's rather be on the catching side of things than the hitting side of things.
Now, Molina and Morrow were on the same page all night long, but that first start of his career indicative of the potential of Brandon Morrow for sure. Shutting down the Yankees so effectively. Mitch Myers starting in left field tonight. 1-1 count here in the 8th. Bruce Walton has been so positive about what Brandon Morrow's capable of doing. There's a drive down the right field line into the corner, up against the wall. Snyder bobbles it. Myers around second, and up he stops at second with a slide. That'll be a clean double for Mitch Myers. He ripped it down the right field corner off the wall.
And it might have been interesting if Travis Snyder would have been able to handle this ball off the wall cleanly. Might have had a shot at throwing Meyer out at second base. Meyer realized that. That's why he went into second base with a good hard slide the last time he looked up or took a look. He knew he was going to have to hurry to stretch it into a double. But once the ball was bobbled, he was going to be in there easily, no problem.
Yeah, Snyder had good position, and that's the last image Meyer had when he rounded first base. Well, Meyer gets his first hit of the season. He was 0 for 9 before that double. Betancourt takes a strike. Yuniesky Betancourt, first hit of the ball game off of Brandon Morrow. Morrow had no hit the Royals into the 6th. 1 out and 1 on. Betancourt singled sharply through the left side into left field. Irony of that is that Morrow and Betancourt were teammates in Seattle. It's the 3rd time that's happened this year where a former teammate has busted up a pitcher's no-hitter. Kelly Shopik did it to CC Sabathia, and of course Alex Rios did it to Ricky Romero. Some local knowledge. Hitters know their pitchers, and Betancourt broke up the no-hit bid of Morrow. A ball and 2 strikes on the Royals shortstop. 1 out. The Jays up 8-1. Strong start from Brandon Morrow. Great night at the plate for Jose Bautista. Swing and a miss, and Betancourt's gone. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. 2 down. Leadoff hitter David DeJesus. Takes the ball inside. DeJesus drove in the only Royals run tonight with a single into right field. Came in the 6th inning. Whereas with a run on 4 hits, Sean Camp in relief of Brandon Morrow. Over the mound. McCoy behind the mound makes the play. Cut down a good runner. McCoy's had a good day at the plate and a good day in the field. 8-1 Blue Jays. Commentator clothing provided in part by Z Zenya. Statistical information provided by Stats Inc. Music provided by Universal Canada. Eight-1 Blue Jays. Kyle Farnsworth, the third reliever to pitch here tonight, will come on to work the eighth inning.
4.91 ERA. Kyle Farnsworth, opposition hitting .375 against him so far. He has worked just 3 2/3 innings. Well, at one time, this guy right here could really run it up to the plate. He could get it up there at 97, 98 miles an hour.
Adam Lind will face Farnsworth here in the eighth. 0 for 3 with a walk. 10 hits for the Jays tonight. Farnsworth came up to the big leagues with the Cubs. 1999, came up as a starter, made 21 starts, went 5-9 in his rookie year. You can see he's got a big arm. Bounced around a bit. Chicago, then to Detroit, Atlanta, the Yankees, back to Detroit, and now Kansas City. Two and two. You see Farnsworth's arm and you think, wow, how can he have any trouble? But I'm not sure why, but he always looked like a guy that would be a very effective closer. Had that kind of stuff, that kind of makeup.
And you'd also wonder why he's bounced around somewhat.
Strikeout. Took a little off. Vernon Wells, a 2-out double in the fifth inning. Just a hustle double. He beat the throw from Mitch Meyer into second. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it off his leg. Just the fourth double of the season for Vernon Wells. Going to take a while to walk that one off.
This pitch had some good late run to it and ran hard in onto the hands. Wells trying to pull his hands in to get to the baseball and fouls it. Looked like right off his ankle or the inside of that left foot.
So he's set. Outside 1-1. Breaking ball down and away. 2 balls and a strike. Wells hitting here with an out in the eighth inning. Vernon 1 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. 3-1.
And Vernon Wells really looks comfortable at the plate right now. He's very quiet, not a lot of movement with the body. And you can tell that he's seeing the ball well by the pitches oftentimes he's laying off of. Just some good late movement beat him with that last pitch. Looked like it might have been a two-seamer. It had some run and sink to it. And he didn't throw it quite as hard. He's been typically about 94 to 96. That last one at 90 miles an hour, but good movement.
Got a piece of it to stay alive. Wells has had the upper hand in this head-to-head matchup. He's 4 for 8 against Kyle Farnsworth. Ball 4, he walked him. One out walk to Vernon Wells. Well, Lyle Overbay has had a productive night. He's been on base all 4 times. He doubled to the opposite field in his first at bat in the second. Reached on catcher's interference in the third, then walked and scored twice. Once in the 5th, once in the 7th. Seen a lot of pitches tonight.
It seems over like the last couple of days he's really made an effort to try to let the ball get a little deeper in the strike zone, work it, picking up rotation, spin, and things have improved a little bit.
Takes a fastball in there. Yeah, oftentimes you get things going downhill and off to a slow start. You don't really realize how much time you have at the plate before you have to commit to your swing. A little bit more time than you think.
Just try to slow everything down a little bit.
Inside, 1-1.
There's 2 thoughts when a hitter is struggling. Some believe that when you're struggling early in the count, if you get a good pitch to hit, go ahead and let it go. Don't work on seeing the ball because you really don't have a lot to fight with if you get behind in the count. Others believe,
There's a base hit in the left field. Lyle Overbay has a pair of hits. Wells will stop at second.
And others believe that maybe you should take an at bat or 2 and work on seeing some pitches, and maybe that's up to individual hitters to figure out what works best for them to get out of a slump. But Lyle Overbay with another nice piece of hitting, he just takes the ball where it's pitched and lines it into left field. And this is what he does so well when he's going. You see that front foot gets down in plenty of time. You could see it was down before the ball ever gets anywhere near the hitting zone, and he's able to catch the ball out front and drive it into left field.
Overbay's been on board 5 times tonight. Jose Bautista has been the hitting star tonight. 2 homers. Swings at the first pitch again, drives it to center field, but Ankiel's there. Wells went back to tag, and he stops. But Jose Bautista, the last 3 times, jumps on the first pitch. That time, sounded like he broke his bat.
Hey, a great shot of the respect that Vernon Wells has for the arm of Rick Ankiel. Ankiel having to move to his left and pretty deep when he caught the baseball, but Wells bluffed and then shut it down. Ankiel with a great throwing arm.
So there are 2 outs now for Travis Snyder. Snyder with a couple of hits tonight.
Frank White, who does color for the Royals broadcast, was telling us before the game today, sometimes Ankiel has a tendency to overthrow the cutoff man because he wants to show that arm off. Got to remember to hit that cutoff man.
One ball and no strikes. Well, when you have the ball on plane, the cutoff guy can cut it. And there's Frank White with Ryan Lefevre, the television crew for the Royals. What a year, what a career Frank White had with the Royals. Gold Glove second baseman.
Robbie Alomar I always felt had a little more range probably than Frank, but I can honestly say I had never played with or against an infielder that had better hands.
Two balls and a strike to Travis Snyder. Swings and drives it toward right. De Jesus right there makes the play on it. Snyder's had a good night swinging the bat. Nothing to show for it there. But it's all Jay's offense tonight. 8 runs on 11 hits. Casey Jansen will come on to work tonight. Jay's post game, and the Ben's Near finalist announced tonight, so you get a chance to catch up on all the latest hockey news as well as the Jays post game. Right after the game, it's connected. Casey Janssen will be the third Jays pitcher here tonight. Brandon Morrow went a very strong 7 innings, 8 strikeouts over 7 innings. Just a single run allowed. Casey Janssen, 6th appearance of the season. Jumps out in front of Alberto Callaspo. On the ground, over the bag, fair ball. Jansen there waits for it, and Overbay delivers the toss. 1 out. Ball looked like it was going to trickle into foul territory. Took kind of a funny hop.
It looked as if it might have actually hit the bag at first base. It definitely changed directions after this bounce right here. Might have hit just the inside of the bag. Yeah, it hit it. Yeah, it sure did. And you see, great shot of Casey Janssen hustling over to cover first base.
1 out. Billy Butler rips at the first one.
Casey Janssen, basically a 2-pitch pitcher. Fastball, slider. You get it up to 91, 92. But his real strength is his ability to pitch to both sides of the plate. Normally has very good command.
Toward left. Fred Lewis, 2 down. Well, Casey Janssen's throwing the ball as well as anybody on this team, and he's done it all the way back into the spring. A year under his belt, further removed from that surgery. Fred Lewis has had a good night tonight. Cut off a nice play down in the left field corner.
Made an outstanding running catch up against the wall.
It came off the bat of Brian Pena in the 2nd inning. Jose Guillen, 2 outs. Ball 2. Eight runs on 11 hits for the Jays. 1 run on just 4 hits for the Royals. Royals came into this game tonight leading the American League in hits and batting average.
But just a great example here this evening how good pitching can shut down good hitting. And of course, Brandon Morrow, Sean Camp, and Casey Janssen have been outstanding so far here this evening.
And you got to give Morrow a lot of credit. He's been working on some minor adjustments. He came out, walked the first batter, never allowed it to phase him, and from there he just breezed.
But at some point you have to go out there and trust it and give it a chance to work. He did that tonight.
Fouled out of play.
As a pitcher or a hitter, sometimes the most difficult part of making an adjustment is once you work on it, when you go into the game, you have the discipline to take it into the game and apply it.
He did a great job of that tonight. Royals down to their last strike. They'll get another. 8-1 Blue Jays. First game of the 3-game series. Tomorrow night, Kyle Davies for the Royals against Dana Evelyn. Wednesday afternoon, Zach Greinke, Sean Markham. Another 3-2 pitch. Into center field, Vernon Wells can't make a play. Short hopped it. Guillen gets a 2-out base hit, his 2nd hit tonight.
This ball hit very hard and sinking. And Vernon Wells unable to get there and make the shoestring catch. Clearly a short hopped into his glove, and Guillen making sure the umpire has a little assistance if he needs it.
Rick Ankiel. Late on a fastball. And Keels had a rough night. 3 strikeouts against Brandon Morrow.
Yeah, there wasn't anybody really in that Royals lineup that had much fun against Brandon Morrow this evening. He was tough.
On the ground toward first. Overbay to Jansen, and that'll do it. Casey Jansen gives up a hit, but nothing more. A 2-out base hit. Jose Bautista, his 3rd multi-home run game. Lyle Overbay reached base 5 times. Bautista tied his career high with 5 RBIs. Jays win it 8-1. Stay tuned for Connected.